Hello, Libra, and welcome into your reading for the first half of October. So we'll be taking a look at job and career, love and relationships, and then also life path and mission. And before we jump in there, we're going to pull a card from our crystal deck and see what crystal the divine is recommending or suggesting that you work with in the first half of the month. So this is kind of a fun deck. I like it. It has these QR codes on the back, and when you scan them, it gives you different sounds or music to listen to while you meditate. And the deck is actually much thicker than this. It's just a matter of I pulled out the ones that aren't actually crystals that don't seem to go with this. But this one for you is Journey of the Soul, Elegance, Mastery, and Totality. So when those are coming up, it's whatever crystal you feel most comfortable with, because this is, reminding you that this is a journey of the soul that you're on right now. And it's all about growth. It's all about lessons and what lessons are there for you to learn. One of the things that's happening in the first half of the month here is we do have a solar eclipse in your sign on October 14th. And so that's going to be a time that's going to be inspiring us to reflect on our relationships and practicing this kind of balance where, yes, you're showing love and support for other people, but you're also balancing that with self-love and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So it's a really important time to work on meditating and journaling and grounding. So if you can go for a walk in the park or go for a walk along the beach, even just sitting outside, on your balcony if you live in a city, that sort of thing. So let's pull 3 cards for the overall energy, and then we will take a look individually at those areas I had talked about. So the cards that are coming up here, we have our 8 of Pentacles, and that one is about your expertise in like honing your talents and your skills. And then we have our 8 of Swords in reverse. And so our 8 of Swords in reverse, that's going to be a card about like your freedom and perspective, and you're kind of taking control of certain situations. And then we also have the Death card. So that's about transformations and kind of closing out old cycles. It does have to do with bad luck, but a lot of it is just, kind of the death or the falling away of things that aren't really serving you anymore. So some of it is, if you're looking at like your 8 of Pentacles, so, you have that expertise, and then your 8 of Swords in reverse, where there's kind of that freedom and taking control. It could be, when you pair the 2 of those up, that before you felt like you were kind of trapped in a certain situation and you felt like you had to keep giving and giving, maybe because you were an expert. So if it was from a job perspective, maybe you felt trapped, like, oh, but I'm so good at my job, but I don't really want to do it. But let's see how that plays out across those other areas that we had talked about. So a few other things that are happening at the first half of October. On the 10th, we have Pluto going direct. So that's going to be about like transformations are going to start happening again, or like picking back up, because Pluto is like that destroyer type of energy. So it's about tearing down things that are no longer working for you and moving you in a direction where you are realizing your highest good and your actual soul path. On the 8th, we also have Venus entering Virgo, and that's about kind of taking things a little bit more seriously and paying a little closer attention to the people that you care about and kind of that prioritizing what's important in life. And then also on the 12th, we have Mars entering Scorpio, and Scorpio energy is that passionate, intense, kind of like unrelenting type of energy. So with Mars entering Scorpio on the 12th, that's really going to be about like, how do you use that energy? Come back from defeat. Use your will power, to create change. So as we talk about kind of balancing out, self-love and taking care of other people, how do you create that change if you've been stuck in a cycle of, say, overgiving? All right, and let's take a look. So for our jobs in the immediate past, we have 2 of Swords in reverse, currently sitting in Knight of Swords energy, with Knight of Cups in reverse as the next level of energy. So from a work perspective, you've kind of been confused lately, like there's no real good choices. Maybe things are kind of up in the air and you don't really know which way to go with it. And that's pushed you into this this energy of, all right, let's just go for it. Let's go for it. You're tired of this feeling like there's this indecision and confusion, and you're kind of just in a let's go, let's get this done type of a mood. And then that's going to end up, this energy here is this disappointment, and kind of like a little bit of like a bad mood, sour type of energy. So I would say the thing to be cautious of here is, since this Eight of Pentacles is about your skills and your mastery and your talent and your expertise, it's almost like it's creating a little bit of that maybe arrogance of, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and do it. It'll be fine. I think because you're getting tired of that state of indecision, and so you're going to end up being disappointed a little bit. But let's see if there's any other messages or any other, I guess, Spirit, what else do our Libras need to know about this disappointment that's sitting out here in the future from a job perspective? The World in reverse, and then the Ten of Swords. So the Ten of Swords, this is about like exhaustion and defeat. There's some sense of betrayal, like getting stabbed in the back. The World in reverse is that there's been like delays and frustrations. You're kind of seeking some closure too. So it could be one of those things you just got so tired of waiting and kind of balancing out the options. It was like, all right, boom, let's do this. Let's go for it. And it didn't work out the way you thought because there was some maybe backstabbing that was happening at work, and you just kind of got, burned out and frustrated. And so then you're kind of stuck in that type of energy. So be mindful. Really make sure that you're weighing out your options carefully before you go guns blazing in there, since this Eight of Swords in reverse energy is kind of that freedom, taking control, almost like that arrogant, yeah, we can do this, let's just go. So taking some extra time to meditate and to, journal, ask your spirit guides for some guidance here. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what is happening love and relationship wise for our Libras. In the recent past, we have Ace of Swords in reverse, Knight of Wands in reverse, with the next level or likely outcome as being Three of Cups in reverse. So in the recent past, you've kind of had this sense of like confusion within your relationships, maybe a loss of focus or kind of that feeling of chaos. If you're in a relationship, if you're single, maybe it's that sense of, the dating pool is just chaotic. This is crazy. With your Knight of Wands in reverse, there is kind of some anger and like recklessness associated with it. So if you're in a relationship and it's been chaotic, it's kind of like you're getting frustrated and kind of angry, I guess, mainly, and it seems like it's mainly directed at the other person. So because there's that element of arrogance with it. So almost like you're blaming the other person for the chaos, and not necessarily seeing whatever you did to contribute one way or the other to it. And then the next level of energy coming in, or likely outcome, is kind of this like lonely, reclusive type of energy. So if you stay on this path here, it looks like there has been some problems in the relationship. You're turning around and blaming the other person. And this lonely feeling is either from the other person kind of energetically withdrawing from you, or it could also be a relationship ending because of a sense of like not really taking accountability for your involvement. And in most situations, not every single situation, but in almost all of them, both people played some part in it, regardless of who played what part or to what degree. Even if you think it was totally the other person's fault, you allowed them to behave in a certain manner. Like you didn't set strong enough boundaries to stop that behavior earlier. Or maybe you were hoping it was going to get better, whatever the case may be. So there's contribution on both sides. But if this is moving into this energy of like arrogance and anger, it looks like the other person's just kind of like, nah, and they pull back. Like I said, whether that's energetically pulling back, or whether that is fully pulling back. So the card that flipped, because I was going to ask for more guidance on that, is the Nine of Swords, and that is that anxiety, stress, trauma. But let's see, Divine, what else do we need to know about this situation, the romantic situation? All right, let's pull another card. Then we have Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is like a fast-moving energy, and there's like it's speed and progress. It also has this element of striking, like kind of striking out. So let's take a look. We'll look at some timing cards. What is the timing looking like for kind of closure to this cycle of energetic disconnect or arrogance, or if it is an actual breakup? What is the timing looking like with that? It's saying not in the foreseeable future. So so it looks like this is something that is going to kind of drag out, whatever it is, whether it's the energetic distance, whether it's, you know, if the relationship is on its way out, that it's not in the foreseeable future that the situation is turning around. So looks like maybe some additional energy or work is needed in that area to keep things on track and balanced. All right, let's take a look at life path and mission. And in the recent past, we have our Ace of Pentacles in reverse, Ten of Wands in reverse is your current energy, and Death is the energy, like the next level or future outcome type of energy. So with our Ace of Pentacles in reverse, this is on your life path. It's like you're seeing that there's been these missed opportunities, or you invested time and energy, maybe money, into something, and it kind of fell by the wayside, or, you know, it fell apart, didn't pan out the way you thought it was going to. And it's leaving you in this like stressful, burned out type of situation, because you feel like you're carrying all of this burden yourself. And the next level of energy coming in is the Death card. So that's those transformations, closing out of old cycles. And so it's kind of like you realize that this is not the path that you are wanting to be on. And, you know, as we tie all of this back to this journey of the soul, whenever we have situations where there's these really, really tough lessons and things like that, one of the important things to remember is, and a lot of people believe in this line of thinking, is that you chose your scenario before you incarnated here, and you chose what lessons you wanted to learn. And if you can mentally kind of take a step back from what's happening and look at it and say, so what are the lessons here? What is it that needs to be learned? And tie it back to what is your soul's journey. So, you know, along here with your life path and mission, you know, the journey here was that you had missed some different opportunities, or you were investing your energy in the wrong place, which made you feel burned out. So that needs to stop. Along here with the relationships, it's like, you know, you had this feeling of chaos, but, you know, kind of that arrogant energy of course it's not my fault. And so then you have the feeling of being kind of lonely and out on your own. And then it's leading you to feeling even more like anxious or stressed out. And even on the work perspective, that, you know, you felt like there was a lot of that sense of indecision, and then kind of hasty, okay, fine, let's just make a decision. And that didn't, you know, that kind of landed with some disappointment. So some of that is, how do you overcome that? How do you try to balance that out? You know, if this is a journey of the soul, how do you balance out those disappointments? What do you do to transform those disappointments into something that's going to be more helpful or meaningful towards you in the long run? Actually, before we do this, let's take a look here on the Death card. Like, what is the timing there for? It's kind of almost like calling no glory on that life path, like that you thought, hey, this is what my mission is, this is what my life path is, and then you kind of get burned out and you're like, no, I guess that's maybe not. So let's take a look at the timing on that one. And it says, when you're ready. So some of that becomes a matter of, I guess, pride and acceptance and healing. Like, when do you get to the point of saying, you know what, I've invested enough of my time and energy in this manner, and that's not bringing me that joy. That's not bringing me that happiness or fulfillment. So some of those things will come to an end when you're ready for them too. All right, let's take a look at our Gaia card. Ocean of eternal love, healing, creativity, and fertility. So that's kind of this whole thing of stepping back and looking at the journey of your soul, looking at this, ocean of eternal love. So you are being supported by the divine, even if it feels like right now you're not. Like if there's kind of some of this crazy energy here where you feel like you've got challenges kind of everywhere you face or everywhere you turn. One of the things, and I had heard this a couple different places, is, if you've really been working on manifesting something and you really want it and you're really trying to work towards it, right towards the end, like right before you get your blessings from the divine, there is that one harder, stronger obstacle that you have to overcome, because that's kind of like the universe's way or spirit's way of saying, okay, this is what you've said you want. I'm about to give it to you, but let me make sure, let me double check one more time. Is this really what you want? And, you have to overcome that obstacle to say, yes, this is what I want. And 8s are about obstacles. So that's kind of your overall energy, is there's that 8 type of energy. And this was the card that jumped, is this Anna, grandmother of Jesus, sending the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. So this is kind of about, there is a plan to all of this. So if there's struggles, if you've been trying to manifest something and you feel like you're coming up against challenges and obstacles, remember that that's that energy of, right before you get your blessings, there's going to be another hard type of push to make sure that that's what you really want. So the card that I drew, since that was a jumper card, is the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. So whatever these struggles are for you, you have been training for them. You're ready for them. And you've been training for lifetimes to be able to stand up for what it is that you want and find that balance, because like here, for example, it was a little bit of that hasty, you weren't weighing your decisions. It was like, I'm tired of dealing with the indecision and the back and forth, so let's just do it. So you kind of went for it there, but then here it's kind of almost a little bit of the opposite, like, oh, well, I missed some of the opportunities, so now I'm just going to keep going and going and going, so it's like, how do you find that balance between, okay, it's time to release some of the energy that I'm putting down here and maybe put more energy up here into figuring out what the right course would be. All right, our Sacred Creator card. Let's take a look at what we have. Ambush fear with your ferocious dream. So some of that is, when we look at this, you've been training for this for lifetimes. If you watch the daily polls, you'll know that messages come through more powerfully for me when the color palettes look like they're all going together. So all of these, like with this healing and creativity and that fertility is about like birthing new ideas, new dreams, new opportunities. So instead of being scared by it, the way that you overcome your fear is holding to your dreams and saying, yes, this is what I want. You're laying the foundations for this divine plan, but you have to be confident that, yes, this is what I want. And you've been training for this. So you're ready if you can just kind of quiet some of those inner voices, the inner voices in your head, that ego voice that's saying, no, you can't do this. Oh, you should do this. And really listen to your intuition. That's going to be what's whispering, and that's going to be what speaks to you. So once you can do that, you'll be able to let go of the part that isn't working and be able to put your energy into your dreams and what is going to be working for you. So I hope today's message has been helpful for you. And if there's other people that you think could benefit from this, I certainly welcome you to share this message with them. As always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. So there's a few other videos as well that I've posted recently. If you wanted to check those out, like a twin flame video, is this your person? I will have other new videos coming up, and a special one for the eclipse coming in about a week or so. And so if you want to make sure to be alerted when those new videos post, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time. Bye bye.